Missing out on the biggest lightning lane changes and the newest dining reservations and those dream hotel stays is not on our 2025 Disney World list for you. You're in the right place to make sure you make zero mistakes on your next Disney trip. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Well, no one's Disney World vacations are ever going to go completely flawlessly because mistakes are bound to happen whether you're in control of them or not. Many of those vacation mistakes are easy to navigate around just as long as you know how to confront them before the big trip. So that's our goal today. We're going to confront those Disney World mistakes now so you don't have to worry about them when you're there. Take a deep breath. We got this. Okay, dear Disney, I'm still carrying around the emotional baggage you left me with after you closed the Great Movie Ride in 2017, but now you expect me to carry around all this new baggage too? There are so many rides that are on their way out, ready to close up shop, and I don't want you to miss them before they go. Don't forget to say goodbye and get one last ride or meal or experience on all these attractions and in all these restaurants. Okay. Before I get too caught up in my own nostalgia, let me set the record straight. I am excited that Disney's doing exciting things. I'm excited for the new Monsters, Inc. land. I love it. I love Sully. He's my favorite character. He's my kid's favorite character. Rock and Roller Coaster Muppet retheme. Villains show takeover. Little Mermaid show coming to Hollywood Studios. I'm excited for the Tropical Americas coming to Animal Kingdom, which will bring new attractions themed around Encanto and Indiana Jones and the new Zootopia show taking over Tree of Life. And I'm excited for the whole Villains Land and new Cars Land coming to Magic Kingdom too. But with all these new changes, two things have to happen first that are a little more painful to deal with. One, we have to put on our patient pants because some of these new areas are going to take a while before they actually come to life. We're talking years. And two, we have to say goodbye to some of those areas and attractions that we've come to know and love with time. So in the case of Hollywood Studios, and I'm sorry to be so dramatic about this, you guys, but this is we're going to see some major changes here. It's going to make a big impact on your trip. Anyway, case of Hollywood Studios. Monsters, Inc. land will be replacing the Muppets Courtyard. So Muppet Vision, Pizza Rizzo, Mama Melrose's. Start saying your final goodbyes when construction for this area starts up later on in 2026. So you still got some more time to check out these places before they officially close up shop, but just keep that in the back of your mind. We're going to have to say goodbye. Fortunately, the Muppets aren't going to be completely kicked out of the park though, since they'll replace the current Aerosmith theme for Rock and Roller Coaster at a later date. Now the new Villains show, Villains Unfairly Ever After, is taking over Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, which already closed back in October so that Disney could start getting this new show ready to open by next summer. And The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, is literally replacing itself in a sense. It's just upgrading the old show into a new show with added songs and props and effects, which hopefully we'll be able to see next summer as well. The Tropical Americas, called Pueblo Esperanza, will be replacing Dinoland USA. The closure of Dinoland will take place in phases, with phase 1 closing Triceratops Spin, Fossil Fun Games, and Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures on January 13th, 2025. So the last day to ride them and experience these is January 12th. That's your biggest, potential mistake or concern is that you're not going to get there before January 12th because that's right around the corner. Construction walls are going to go up around these areas on January 13th. For now, closing dates have not been announced for Dinosaur, the Boneyard, Restaurantosaurus, Dinobite Snacks, and Trilobites. We'll make sure to update you once we know more on those. What we do know is that Disney has stated that you'll be able to ride Dinosaur throughout 2025. So Dinosaur's not going to close its doors until 2026, it sounds like. Pueblo Esperanza itself won't be officially completed until 2027. Meanwhile, the new 4D Zootopia show, Zootopia Better Zootgether, will be replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug and opening as early as winter 2025. So we don't have a closing date for It's Tough to Be a Bug yet. Stay tuned. And for Magic Kingdom, while the new Villains Land won't be replacing anything in Magic Kingdom that we know about yet, the new Cars Land will be taking over Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island, with construction starting up early in 2025. But no opening timelines for either land has been announced just yet, and no closing dates for Tom Sawyer Island or Rivers of America have been announced. I think a big reason why we can lose our heads over seeing so many classic sections of the Disney parks being replaced goes along with the whole Ship of Theseus paradox. Okay, don't stress, I'm not here to give you a philosophy lesson, but in case you're unfamiliar with what this paradox is, it's basically the idea of replacing old ship parts with new ship parts. After a while, if you replace every part of the ship, is it still really the original ship you started with in the first place? Fortunately, this conundrum isn't as big of a question when you attach it to the Disney parks, though it can sure feel that way sometimes, especially with Hollywood Studios, which even got a name change back in 2008. Even though the Disney parks can start feeling like a whole different place than what we grew up with, they're still parks that are catering to a new generation of families with familiar stories alongside the classic ones. And even Walt himself said that, Disneyland will never be finished. It will always be an evolution, and it's the same for Disney World. So while it's sad to let go of these old attractions, it's also exciting to think about what's on the horizon. So during your 2025 vacation, if you can, make sure you swing by these places that might not be around the next time you visit, just so you have the chance to see them if you've never gotten to before, or to give them one last farewell and thanks for everything. Now, I know I've said this in previous videos, but I don't think this statement has ever been more true before than it is right now. You know how Disney's got that skip the line service, right? It used to be free, then you had to pay for it, now you get to pay even more for it? Okay, those shorter lines are called lightning lanes, and lightning lanes change all the time, so you gotta be on your toes and ready to adapt just in case a lightning lane rule adjustment is made that changes your plans at the last second. To be fair, I don't think we're going to see nearly as many lightning lane changes as we did in 2024. At least I sure hope we don't, because that was a whirlwind. And I can't tell you how many pages we have to go back and change on DisneyFoodblog.com every time they change this stuff. But I still think we should be prepared for whatever Disney might throw our way in 2025. So just to catch you up to speed, here are some of the biggest lightning lane changes that happened in 2024. I'm going to go pretty quickly with these so we don't spend the rest of the video just talking about lightning lanes. But if you want a more in-depth lightning lane recap, we've got a Disney World lightning lane playlist on our YouTube channel that you can check out next to help fill in the blanks. As of July 24th, 2024, Disney Genie Plus transformed into Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and Single Pass. With this change, you can now make Lightning Lane plans before you're in the parks for added confidence. For Multi-Pass, you can pre-select up to 3 Lightning Lanes per day, and for Single Pass, you can pre-select up to 2 Lightning Lanes per day. Choose experiences and times prior to purchasing so you know exactly what you're getting with your purchase, and book the Lightning Lane passes for multiple vacation days all at once if you wish. Those staying at a Disney World hotel can purchase and select their first 3 Lightning Lane multi-passes up to 7 days in advance of their check-in day for the entire stay up to 14 days. Meanwhile, all other guests will be able to purchase and select their first 3 Lightning Lane multi-passes 3 days in advance. And then, on October 30th, 2024, a third all-inclusive option was introduced to select resort hotel guests, Lightning Lane Premier Pass. This inclusive option grants one-time entry into every Lightning Lane ride and attraction in a given park for one price, eliminating the need to monitor Lightning Lane availability and make new Lightning Lane reservations throughout the day. So instead of having to worry about pre-selecting or planning out your Lightning Lane selections and crossing your fingers that your plans work out just the way you want them to, you'll just automatically have all of a park's Lightning Lanes handed over to you, even the single pass options. Premier passes are very expensive, but when this service first rolled out, it was only available to deluxe resort guests to purchase. Not even a month later, Disney switched the rules of Premier Pass so that now all Disney hotel guests, even those staying at a value or moderate resort, get the chance to purchase Premier Passes too. Anyone else feel like they're running a marathon just to keep up with the speed of Lightning Lane changes? Because they're good and plenty, let me tell you. Again, I think, fingers crossed, that the Lightning Lane adjustments we potentially see next year will just be tweaks and minor changes to help improve the services that are already in place. But as always, we'll let you know when those changes happen, regardless of how minor or major they might be, because we know that they are going to affect your trip. And we also know that Lightning Lane choices vary. For some people, it's a must-do. For some people, they're never going to buy it. But we're going to give you all the pros and cons both ways. In the meantime, it's also a good idea to download the free My Disney Experience app before your trip so that you can get a good feel for how the Lightning Lane services work and to prevent yourself from having to learn about all the big stuff on the day of your visit. You can also pick up our free Lightning Lane guide, which will walk you through the whole multi-pass / single pass / Premier Pass kit and caboodle by scanning the QR code displayed on your screen now, or by heading over to DisneyFoodblog.com/multipass after this. Alright, so before we get any further into this video, I've got something important to say, because I know that ride changes and price increases and booked up reservations can be overwhelming, especially when you've never been to Disney World before, and you're hearing about all this stuff, all this crazy difficult stuff from a plethora of secondary sources. But I'm here to tell you, do not let fear drive you away from your dream vacation. I've been super fortunate to go to Disney World a bunch for many years of my life, giving me a lot of opportunities to report back to you about all the big changes and ongoing events happening happening around the parks, but I absolutely know how overwhelming it can be to go to a Disney park for the first time. I just went to Tokyo Disney in 2017 for the first time, and it's so stressful figuring out the train services and the show lotteries and the hotel booking times and the major quick service lines and the Japanese toilets, which are phenomenal, to be honest. But it's a great reminder about how no matter what Disney parks you visit, there's just a whole lot to juggle behind the scenes before you ever even walk into the park. So much so that if you're not careful, the fear of making any sort of mistake can keep you from taking a Disney trip at all. But if this is a trip you've been saving for and dreaming about for a good long while, don't let the online pushback or fear of failure bring you down. That's why I created the DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining in the first place, to create a safe space for people to escape to whenever they need help planning their upcoming dream vacations. So if you're looking for permission to continue getting excited about your trip, no matter what else we talk about in today's video, this is it. This is your permission to be mindful of mistakes that could happen while you're trying to learn the ropes, but don't let that fear of messing up keep you from finally walking down Main Street USA for the first time ever and seeing Cinderella Castle in person like you've always dreamed of doing. It's a theme park, y'all. I promise you're gonna have a blast. Okay, next mistake you want to avoid, now that we've had a little rah-rah pump-up session, is booking your hotel at the last second. Disney World's got a lot of hotels for you to choose from and thousands of potential rooms for you to select too, so it's easy to see how booking a hotel room for your Disney vacation can slip away from you amongst everything else you're probably juggling in your life. After all, Disney's not really going to run out of hotel rooms, right? Right? Well, for the most part, that's probably true. But when it comes to booking a hotel room for Disney's busier seasons, you'd be surprised by just how quickly some of those value resorts can fill up, leaving you with only the higher end options to choose from, which, you may not want to pay $500 a night for. I can remember having a flight canceled and needing to stay on Disney World property for an extra night during one of the Run Disney races, and there wasn't a room anywhere on property. The poor cast members had to call around forever to find me a place to actually stay. So things can get kind of dicey sometimes. And if that happens for you, you might have to default to plan B and choose a hotel that's not owned by Disney, which isn't the worst thing ever by any means, but it can be a bummer if you were really wanting to stay on property. So here are a few times in 2025 where Disney's value hotels could very well book up months in advance that you'll need to keep on your radar, especially if one of these dates aligns with your future visit. January 8th to the 12th, that's the first Run Disney event of the year, the Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend. Run Disney race weekends are not only wildly busy in the parks, but since the races start so early, the participants often choose to stay on property to make their transportation easier. At the tail end of January into February, we've got the National Dance Team Championships from January 31st to February 2nd. This is the one you really want to look out for if you're planning to stay at a Disney World Value Resort, especially one of the All-Star resorts, since many teams choose to stay at these to save as much money as possible and still be on property. Those rooms will fill up fast, so expect to see the hotels busier and potentially louder than usual. You'll also want to watch out for another Run Disney race, the Disney Princess Half Marathon Weekend from February 20th to the 24th. Right at the beginning of April, we've got the Run Disney Springtime Surprise Weekend from April 3rd to the 6th, and since you'll be navigating race crowds on top of spring break crowds with this one, the sooner you can book your hotel, the better. From April 25th to 28th, right when most spring break crowds are gone, Cheerleading Worlds moves into Disney World, another unexpected busy time that could throw you for a loop. And you'll also want to watch out for the World Dance Competition happening from July 9th to the 14th. All of these competitions take place at Disney's ESPN Wide World of Sports, but participants do book rooms at all the hotels. Aside from booking hotel rooms early just to make sure you secure them, you'll also want to book them way ahead of your trip if you're planning on using one of the special offers, deals, or discounts you can find advertised on the Disney website, since only a select number of rooms are set aside for these discounts, meaning savings are on a first-come, first-served basis. Not to mention, you'll want to use your Disney Resort privileges ASAP, because Disney's hotel guests can start reaping the benefits even before they cross into the Disney bubble. For example, while all Disney guests are allowed to start booking advanced dining reservations 60 days ahead of their arrival, Disney World hotel guests can make reservations up to 60 days in advance, plus the length of their stay, up to 10 days. So basically, just by being a hotel guest, you can snag all your dining reservations for your entire trip once you're 60 days out, instead of having to keep logging into the Disney website or My Disney Experience app day after day to collect more dining reservations. Yep, safe to say procrastination doesn't pay when it comes to booking a Disney hotel room, so it's best to start studying up on what Disney hotel room you want now so you don't fall behind on planning and have a hard time catching back up. To help with that, we've already created a full and free Disney hotel guide detailing every single Disney resort you could potentially stay in during your next visit. We even rank each of the hotels to show you which ones we personally prefer versus the ones we think leave a little something to be desired. Just scan the QR code you see on the screen now or head to disneyfoodblog.com/hotels to pick up your free guide today. Next danger zone is not checking out the competition. How's about we add a little bit of spice to today's script? While Disney's going to be in a major remodel mode throughout 2025, Disney's biggest competitor will not be holding back next year. Universal Orlando is getting ready to open their third park gate, Epic Universe, on May 22nd. That's like very soon, y'all. We're going to blink and May will be here before you know it. With this new park, you'll be able to walk through impressive portals and into realms like Celestial Park, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and Dark Universe. Plus, Universal will also be opening up 3 new hotels near the Epic Universe Park 2. Universal Helios Grand Hotel, which will have a dedicated entrance straight into the park. Universal Stella Nova Resort, opening on January 21st. And Universal Terra Luna Resort, opening March 25th. While those initial park crowds are probably going to be pretty wild, and there'll probably be a few ride kinks and hitches here and there while these brand new attractions adjust to entertaining thousands of guests on the daily, as long as you're in the Orlando area toward the second half of next year, taking a detour to Epic Universe during your Disney vacation might not be such a bad idea, just so you can check out something shiny and new and ultra exciting. Per the release of this video, Universal is still in their first phase of selling Epic Universe tickets. So if you want to buy Epic Universe tickets, you must purchase a multi-day ticket bundle with a 3-day minimum. Universal has teased that single-day tickets to Epic Universe will go on sale at a later date, but as of now, we're still waiting for more information regarding when that might be. For now, you can learn more or everything there is to know about Epic Universe before it opens by checking out our Epic Universe playlist over on our YouTube channel. Now, this next mistake is one we never, ever want you to make. We don't want you to miss out on the dining reservations that you want. We were so excited to see the Cake Bake Shop finally open up over at Boardwalk Inn at the end of October. And while you're more than welcome to just head on back to the bakery to pick up a cake or pastry or unicorn hot chocolate, if you want to experience a full sit-down meal here, you're either going to have to A, see if there's any walk-up availability while you're in the area, which might be few and far between here while the restaurant is brand new, or B, make advanced dining reservations. Previously, reservations were only available to book on the Open Table website, but now that Cake Bake Shop is bookable on the My Disney Experience app and the Disney World website, it's no longer listed on Open Table, so don't be sent on a wild goose chase trying to find reservations for this place. They're going to be right under your nose the whole time. To book reservations on the My Disney Experience app for Cake Bake Shop or any Disney World restaurant you want to make ADRs for, find the restaurant and tap on Reserve Dining. From there, you'll select your party, size, date, and one of the available times. Easy peasy. If you want to book a reservation for the new Roses of Gold afternoon tea at the Cake Bake Shop, you will instead have to book by phone between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern at 407-574-3040 or by email at concierge@thecakebakeshop.com. Since I've been doing this Disney food blog stuff for the past 15 years now, over time I've kind of developed my own lingo for certain Disney things. So if you were to take a page out of the DFB dictionary, you might find terms like plastic cheese. That's a noun. It's the deep golden cheese sauce product that you can use as a dip for pretty much anything, and I don't think there's any real food in there. Farts, which is an acronym. It stands for Festival of the Arts, which takes place at the beginning of the year in Epcot. Soda Goblin, that's a noun. That's me. I'm a soda goblin. Please give me all your Diet Coke and Dr. Pepper. And we got a few more of those hanging around here in the DFB office file boxes, but there's another term we've dropped into the DFB lexicon lately, and that's Barf Alley. This is the section in the World Discovery Pavilion at Epcot where you can ride back-to-back spinny rides that'll make your stomach churn. See also Puke Pavilion, which one of y'all in the comments came up with, and it made me really laugh. Now, I know it's not a pretty image, but it is something you need to be mindful of, especially if you or someone in your group has a sensitive stomach when it comes to spinning attractions and or screen-based attractions. Or in the case of Barf Alley, both. You're going to be dealing with both. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is one of the hottest rides in Disney World right now. However, if you get motion sick pretty easily, this roller coaster has a reverse launch and tight turns and spinning, all at the same time. Not like constant spinning, but it does rotate to allow you to see 360-degree angles on on the ride. And right next door to Cosmic Rewind, you'll find Mission Space, which will put you on the same sort of centrifuge that's used to train astronauts to tolerate high G-forces. And that does include constant spinning. Just so you know how bad this one can be for many folks, this is the only ride in Disney World where you're going to see complimentary vomit bags in front of your seat. Thanks, Disney. How reassuring. While only the orange mission has the high G-forces, even the less intense green mission might still mess with your head, since you'll still be shifting back and forth in a small space with a screen in front of you. So, in summary, while it might seem super convenient to just ride these attractions back to back since they're only steps away from each other, proceed with caution. Even if you haven't had motion sickness issues before. I didn't think I got motion sick until this. So basically that could be a recipe for one upset stomach that'll haunt you for the rest of the day. If you're wanting to tackle both of these rides, but you don't want to deal with the possible repercussions, just make sure you space them out. Get it? Space? Because we're in World Discovery and there are space-themed rides. Oh... Bria and I just have too much fun with these scripts. But in all seriousness, if you ride Cosmic Rewind, consider giving your tummy and head a little break before immediately jumping in line for Mission Space right after. Maybe you could catch up on some shopping over at the Creations shop or ride something else a little less spin-heavy like Spaceship Earth. Also, make sure you pack your preferred motion sickness relievers in your park bag ahead of time, like Bonine or Dramamine or those motion sickness patches you slap behind your ear. If you forget any of these items, that doesn't mean you're not going to be able to tackle these rides. Just head to the First Aid Center, which is actually available in all 4 of the Disney World parks, so they can hook you up with free sample size over-the-counter meds to get you feeling good as new again. I'll never forget when I walked into First Aid after riding Guardians of the Galaxy. It was the media event day, and so we basically had to ride it several times to get all the footage that we needed. And I walked into First Aid, and the nurse took one look at me, and she's like, oh, she's like, you're going to want to take both of these. I was not looking good. Okay, next big mistake. Oh, I've done this one too. Losing something big. Your phone, your bag, even your cool. I've been there. Losing something at Disney World is so not a good time and is indeed a downright mood killer for the rest of your day. While trying to find your missing bag, your phone, your wallet, your glasses, whatever it might be in these ginormous parks, it might feel like a lost battle even before your search begins, but don't lose hope prematurely. First things first, you'll need to retrace your steps and go back to the last place you know you had your missing item. Ask cast members around the area if they potentially saw the thing that you lost in the nearby area, or if a good Samaritan has possibly turned in a missing item in the past half hour or so. If the cast members come up dry, go to Guest Relations. There's a Lost and Found at Guest Relations in every single park, as well as in most of the Disney hotels. In addition to this, you can also fill out a Lost and Found form on chargerback.com that will alert Disney of your lost item that you need help tracking down again, if possible. Typically, within 48 hours, you'll receive a response if the item was located, and even if the item is found after your trip, when you're on your way back home, Disney will happily mail the item back to your house at no charge. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, AJ, whatever. Everybody's got a website where you go and you tell them you lost a thing and you never hear anything again. But I have personally verified losing a whole bunch of stuff at Grand Floridian Resort, not even realizing I lost it until 2 weeks after I got back home, and then using the Chargerback system, and they sent me a giant box of all the clothes that I left in an actual closet there. So it works. It happens. It's actually very, very effective. So don't skip out on using this. If you lose something, definitely use the Chargerback system. It absolutely works. I have also personally lost my driver's license in Disney World and then tried to fly home without it. That was interesting. And I've lost my phone in a minivan at Disney World. So whatever you lose, don't worry. I've done worse than you. And I've gotten all that stuff back. So there is absolutely hope. Ooh, this one's exciting. Now, recently, Disney's been testing out a variety of different single rider options for their more popular rides that tend to rack up the waits. Whenever they're offered, single rider lines in Disney World are a fantastic way to potentially bypass long standby lines without having to pay a lightning lane fee to do so. You just have to be willing to split up with your party and settle with whatever leftover seat a cast member needs to put you in to fill up all the available space. Lately, we've seen single rider testing happening for rides like Rise of the Resistance in Hollywood Studios, Soarin' Around the World in Epcot, and the most recent of all, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, also in Epcot. Now, this is exciting because they've had that single rider line since Remy's opened in 2021, and they've never used it. So it's very exciting that they're starting to use it now. While it's always good to be on the lookout for these single rider lines, just keep in mind that since they're still in testing mode, they may not always be guaranteed to be a solution to those extensive queues during your day. But you can always find the single rider lines available over at rides like Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run in Hollywood Studios, Rock and Roller Coaster also in Hollywood Studios, and Expedition Everest in Animal Kingdom. There used to be one for Test Track too before it underwent its major retheming. We'll just have to see if this single rider option returns when the ride opens later next year. But definitely see if they're doing single rider for Rise of the Resistance, Soarin', and Remy's when you're there. For real though, the biggest mistake you can make in Disney World that I want you to avoid is not doing whatever makes you happy. If you want to chow down on one of those giant turkey legs, go for it. Do you want to ride Journey into Imagination with Figment 5 times in a row? Do it. If you want to skip Magic Kingdom entirely and spend some extra time chilling in Disney Springs, do not let us stop you. Not that we ever would. I'm always down for a day in Disney Springs. Just because we tell you about a certain Disney World strategy in our ultimate itinerary videos or must-do guides online, or someone else tells you to do something that goes against what your heart really wants to do while you're in Disney, remember that at the end of the day, this is your money and your vacation. So just as long as your group is good with whatever game plans you make together, even if that means some of you need to split up from your group for a while and reconvene later, do what you know is going to be the best use of your time instead of just going with what everyone else thinks would be the best use of your time. And don't worry, even if your itinerary looks different from most folks' itineraries, the DFB team will still be here to help you out when you go against par for the course. Now that I've gotten the chance to talk to you about the biggest Disney mistakes, I'm ready to hear from you. What changes are you most excited to see happen in Disney World, either next year or later on down the road? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to pick up that free Disney World hotel guide I mentioned earlier over at disneyfoodblog.com/hotels. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.